Donald Trump just got a chilling final warning from Iran, and it came directly from the Ayatollah himself. The Ayatollah has surfaced and posted the following message. The only place America belongs in the Persian Gulf is at the bottom of its waters. Iran will always protect its nuclear capability. Iran will always keep Hormuz. Iran will never surrender. Iran will never surrender. In fact, Iran is preparing for escalation right now. What is Donald Trump doing in response to that this morning? Here's Donald Trump's post. When is ABC fake news network firing seriously unfunny Jimmy Kimmel, who incompetently presides over one of the lowest rated shows on television? People are angry. It better be soon. Or Donald Trump's other post this morning. The Chancellor of Germany should spend more time on ending the war in Russia, Ukraine, where he has been totally ineffective, and fixing his broken country, especially immigration and energy, and less time interfering with those that are getting rid of the Iran nuclear threat, thereby making the world, including Germany, a safer place. DJT. Now, as Donald Trump is saying that, we are focused on right now Brent crude prices through the roof, over $120 per barrel right now. And we know that spot price significantly higher than that. Donald Trump sent Pete Hegseth to Capitol Hill yet again, who was testifying this time before the Senate today. Yesterday was before the House. Today is the Senate. And Hegseth says the biggest threat to the United States right now is Democrats, is what he says. That's the biggest threat. People who criticize Donald Trump's war crimes, they're the threat. Here's what Hegseth just said moments ago.
Unfortunately, as I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless naysayers and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans. Defeatists from the cheap seats who 2 months in seek to undermine the incredible efforts that have been undertaken and the historic nature of taking on a 47-year threat with the courage no other president has had, to great success and great opportunity for preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon.
Also, during Hegseth's testimony, there have been multiple incidents of protests taking place and people calling Hegseth a war criminal this morning. Let me show you that. Let's play this clip right now.
Real muscle behind our warriors.
Further interruptions of our hearing will be treated in like manner. We appreciate.
Now, also, we got our GDP numbers this morning, and it was less than what was estimated. First quarter GDP rose on an annualized basis of 2% for the first quarter. It was estimated to be 2.3%. I mean, that's slower growth than expected. Also, PCE inflation jumped to 3.5% in March, the highest in 3 years since May 2023. Again, this is a direct result of the war in Iran. Core PCE inflation, excluding food and energy, jumped to 3.2%, the highest since January of 2024. Donald Trump promised he would lower prices. Right now, we are in an environment where inflation is indeed escalating. Also, the American people are giving Donald Trump a rude awakening this morning as it relates to Donald Trump's main priorities, which is his ballroom, which is building a massive 250-foot arch in D.C. and printing his name and face on lots of different things like $100 bills and passports and National Park Service cards. The latest Washington Post ABC Ipsos poll says the following. Would you support the 90,000 square foot ballroom? Only 28% of Americans support. What about the 250-foot arch? Only 21% of Americans support. Do you support the U.S. Treasury printing Trump's signature on paper money instead of the Treasury Secretary's signature? Only 12% of Americans support that. Overall, Donald Trump's approval in the latest AP NORC poll at 33%, in the latest Reuters poll, 34%. On the issue of standard of living, in both those polls, it really dips below 20%. And Trump's support amongst independent standard of living is about 12%. Donald Trump less popular at this point in his presidency than when Richard Nixon resigned. More warnings coming from Iranian leaders. Today is Persian Gulf Day in Iran, and here is what MB Ghalibaf, their parliament leader, saying. In the year 1622 AD, after 115 years of occupation, we expelled the European colonizers from the Persian Gulf, and we celebrate Persian Gulf Day in honor of this victory. Today as well, Iran, by exercising control over the Strait of Hormuz, will ensure that it and its neighbors enjoy the precious blessings of a future free from the presence and interference of America. So if Donald Trump thinks that this blockade is working, or making social media posts with weird AI memes that this is part of a strategy, it is not working at all. You know, we caught up with some MAGA Republican Congress members on Capitol Hill before making this video because I wanted to literally ask them everything I'm presenting you to hear what they're like. What are they saying to their constituents? Didn't you ever wonder, okay, Ben, I hear your perspective on the show. So how is like a MAGA Republican Congress member messaging this to their constituents when we have slow GDP growth, surging inflation? Most Americans right now feel like we're in a recession or a great recession because that's how they're being hurt by this Trump economy. So we spoke with MAGA Republican Congress member Babin, a MAGA Republican Congress member from Texas. And we tried to ask him a basic question. He then confronted one of our DC reporters, Pablo Manriquez, and demanded to know, who are you with? Who are you with? Watch this. Here, play this clip.
Congressman, real quick, has Donald Trump kept his promise to lower prices? No, I know. Congressman, has Donald Trump kept his promise? MeidasTouch.
Who you with?
MeidasTouch.
Okay.
Just has Donald Trump kept his promise to lower prices? I'm asking all your Republican colleagues.
We saw the prices come down dramatically, but we're involved in a conflict with the worst regime, terrorist exploitation regime, and probably in the last 100 years. And this is going to be over soon. And we'll get these prices down. I live, and my district is in the epicenter of energy in Southeast Texas, the greater Houston region. You're going to see prices come down as soon as we get through with this.
If it was a report card,
the president keeps his promises.
If it was a report card, what grade would you give him on the economy?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
If it was like a report card, say, what grade would you give Trump on the economy then?
On the economy?
Yeah.
I think he's got a B average right now, but he had an A, it went to a B, and it's going to go back to an A.
Thank you, Congressman.
Okay.
Then we caught up with MAGA Republican Congress member Byron Donalds, who's also running for governor of Florida. He gives Donald Trump an A right now for the economy and says it is excellent. Here, play this clip.
Congressman, do you think Donald Trump has delivered on his promise to lower prices?
Yeah, he actually has. I know gas prices are a little bit higher because of what's happening in Iran, but across the country, a lot of prices actually have stabilized. I think, inflation's hard, but I remember where we were with the Biden administration. Airline tickets jumped 50%. It was insane. So he's doing a great job. We need, the other side of the aisle to come and help us just do common sense business. But President's doing great.
If it were a report card, what grade would you give him on the economy?
Oh, he gets an A.
An A?
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you, Congressman.
So then we asked MAGA Republican Congress member McCormick from Georgia. So what do you think about all of this? This was from this morning. Here, play this clip.
Do you think that, or has Donald Trump kept his promise to lower prices?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. Right now, if you look at he also made a promise by the Constitution to protect and serve this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's first and foremost responsibility. Prices are always going to be linked to inflation, which is always going to be linked to energy costs, right? Energy costs have spiked because of the oil problem in the Middle East. They will come back down. They will, God willing, as soon as possible. But first and foremost, you know how expensive it is if we get attacked by a foreign enemy, and especially if they have nuclear arms and they can disrupt the whole Middle East, and you can no longer even affect that area of the region because they're protected by nuclear arms, that would have affected us a lot more in the long term. I was saying, pay me now or pay me later. This is an investment in the future.
And then we spoke with MAGA Republican Congress member Newhouse from Washington, and he says that Donald Trump deserves an E for effort. And that's where we're at right now, that the president, a satisfactory E for effort. Really, I just want you to think about how these MAGAs would attack Biden and Obama. But Trump, it's an E for effort. We're grading Donald Trump on the most idiotic curve imaginable, where if he's just able to speak a sentence, it's like, oh my God, he spoke a sentence. Here, play this clip.
Congressman, do you think that Donald Trump has delivered on his promise to lower prices?
He's working on it.
Yeah. Well, if he was like in school, what grade would you give him so far?
I don't know. So I would say probably at least a satisfactory, I guess, at this point.
Satisfactory?
Or an A for effort, but we're not quite where we need to be, are we?
Yeah. Thank you, Congressman.
As I noted all night, Donald Trump was posting weird AI QAnon memes. Literally, it's a QAnon meme. You zoom in, it says Q, the storm is coming. Nothing can stop what is coming. Earlier in the day, he was posting no more Mr. Nice Guy meme, AI images of himself with AR-15 style rifles. And then he posted a bizarre photo of the Strait of Hormuz, but he writes Strait of Trump, to which the Iranians responded and mocked him as well. We heard from NATO Ambassador Whitaker this morning, MAGA Republican Ambassador Whitaker. Here's what he had to say. On Maria Bartiromo's show, they were certainly in cope mode as well. I'll share with you what went down there. Let's play this clip right here.
A top Pentagon official says our military operations in Iran have cost about $25 billion so far. What do you say to voters who may not be happy with that price tag?
It would cost a lot more to have Iran with a nuclear weapon. The blackmail that they would exert from the world and from the United States if they were nuclear capable, we would pay any price to make sure that didn't happen.
And as Donald Trump continues to attack Germany over and over again, a senior official tells CBS that no options have been given to the president yet regarding a reduction in forces in Germany. This official points out that Germany continues to provide quiet support to U.S. forces in the Middle East, which is a consideration. Meanwhile, Trump and Hegseth continued to post the U.S. is studying reviewing possible troop reductions for Germany. Rubio also spoke with the German foreign minister. So while Donald Trump posts things behind the scenes, his team contradicts that and go, we have no plans at all. We aren't even discussing that. And again, this is the thing. When America speaks, this is what King Charles actually said. Like, your word matters. You can't just be like saying a bunch of garbage all day. You know, it creates chaos. It creates disorder. It creates a lack of certainty. And ultimately, it leads to our allies, leaving us, which is essentially where we're at right now. Finally, Israeli News Channel 12 is reporting, amid reports that the U.S. may be mulling renewed military action, Israel's defense minister says it's possible that soon we will need to act again in Iran to ensure that the regime cannot threaten Israel for years to come. Didn't you all say you obliterated them last June? And didn't you say you beat them in the war this time? We're going to be on this endless loop. Could we just be normal? Could we just for a second have a shred of freaking normalcy here? Well, that's what's going on this morning. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.